Happy December and holidays, everyone. Wow, November was an intense month, as we all expected it to be, especially those in the US, with the election. And so there's still a lot of, emotional stuff that's coming up around that. Plus, we have the intensity of the holidays. As much as we might love the holidays, we have to admit there's also a lot of stress around the holidays for most of us. As we oftentimes fall back into those survival coping patterns, the perfectionist, the pleaser, the pretender, pretending to be superhuman. So, just a gentle reminder to keep an eye on all of those patterns. And the more that we can soothe them, the more that we can bring them into balance. So, before I get into the theme of December, I just want to touch on November a little bit more. So, we had the card of transition in November, and definitely I could feel that beginning to transition from specifically astrologically, we transitioned from Pluto in Capricorn to Pluto into Aquarius at the end of November. Huge shift, whether you know anything about it or not. Um, we were in, Pluto was in Capricorn for like 248 years, and it was all about the patriarchy. And now that we've moved into Aquarius, it's about the ending of the patriarchal systems, or I like to call shadow masculine and even shadow feminine. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go listen to my podcast at the link below that talks about feminine and masculine qualities. And now we're going to be at Aquarius for the next 20 years. So Aquarius is all about, first of all, it's an air sign. Capricorn was an earth sign, so very material, stability. Aquarius is air, and it really is about community and connection and communication. And so, yeah, freedom as well. Big on freedom. So that is going to be our focus for the next 20 years. The last time that happened is the French Revolution. And we know what, history shows us what happened during that time. So yeah, that's going to be the theme for the next 20 years that we are here to master. So because of that, there's going to be, I'm going to say over the next couple of months to a year, what is that going to look like for a lot of us? It's going to mean that certain soul contracts or agreements, relationships with each other are completed. And many of us, they've been completed for a while, but we've been holding on, as we do as humans, right? Our soul doesn't hold on, but as a human, um, our human fearful parts, wounded parts want to hold on to the old, even though it's not working anymore. And maybe it never was. Maybe it never was. So you're going to be called to release these agreements that are complete so that you can open to more soul connection and soul alignment relationships. And then we can also, for those people that were releasing, right, the agreements are done, we can still have gratitude, right? Gratitude for the gifts, the soul growth and gifts that it brought us, and have compassion for ourselves and those people as well. So I just wanted to touch on that because that is going to be happening for the next 20 years. So a big deal. Okay, let's move to December. So I'm going to first start with the card for this month. And again, for those of you that are new, at the beginning of the year, I pick from my Syrian Starseed Tarot deck a card for each month. And the card that I picked last January for December now is the Abundance card. The Abundance card. So December, what do I mean of abundance? I'm going to read a little bit from here, but first of all, it's a deeper acknowledgement that you, me, we are worthy of love, abundance, right? Love and abundance, I use that word interchangeably, that we are worthy of that regardless of how others treated us in the past or maybe still treat us, right? You know, family, sometimes it's really hard to shift those old patterns. And so many people in December will be getting together with family, with the people that I'm going to call it the original wound, the original not good enough wound. Most of us picked it up in our childhood due to family, how we were treated, how we weren't treated. So again, it's going to be a big month for really filling our love cup, reminding ourselves how worthy we are of love and abundance in all forms, right? Relationships, at work, monies, etc., etc. And so that's going to be a big focus this month, as well as reflecting on and having gratitude for the abundance from this past year. So, and when I talk about abundance or love in all forms, yes, it's on a human perspective, right? Maybe it was monies, maybe it was a new job, maybe it was a new relationship, but also from a soul perspective. Many of us went through some big challenges. So, what kind of growth from a soul perspective did that bring you? What growth, what gifts, and what wisdom did these challenges from this past year bring you? That is a form of abundance. So, that's going to be a focus this month. And we're also going to be, and this is so counterintuitive, December tends to get busier when we're really meant to slow down more, even more than November. We are moving into the heart of winter, right? The winter solstice happens later this month. And so it's really about slowing down so that you can do this reflection. So you can do this reflection and also the reflection on and the connecting with, excuse me, soul guidance for 2025 for next year. So that is in a nutshell what December is about. So also from this abundance card, it says it is a card of dynamic energy, explosive and forward moving. All is possible, all can be birthed and rebirthed. So associations with this card, mother. So again, many of us were working on that divine mother energy, right? That is a part of abundance, receiving, not just giving. So many of you in this community are really good at giving, and you need to work on receiving. That's going to be a big one for a lot of you next year. Other words, bountifulness, flow, love, creativity, new birth, fertility, nature. And it also has a lot to do with emotions. And one of the ways that we love ourselves or need to practice loving ourselves is through our emotions, accepting and listening to our emotions, which is also going to be big when I get into the astrology piece. Not making your emotions wrong or bad, but remember that your emotions bring you a lot of guidance, right? They're a way that your soul speaks to you, just like through the body and body symptoms to let you know if a boundary's been broken, if you're in or out of alignment in one or more areas of your life. So some questions you may want to reflect on. Am I going with the flow? How do I nurture myself and others? How can I nurture myself more lovingly? How am I expressing my love with people I care for? Right? And there's the communication part that we're talking about with that Aquarius, that shift into Aquarius, an honest and clear communication about how you feel, what you want, what you desire, as well as that giving and receiving love, right? Not just giving, but being open to receiving as well. Am I giving birth? What am I giving birth to at this time? So a lot of us, again, I'm going to talk about it in a few moments with astrology, at the end of the month, especially the solstice, the winter solstice, is all about dreaming and opening to soul guidance for next year. Last question, how do I express my creative visions? How do I, not last question, now last question, how do I let my emotions, how do I work with my emotions? How do I allow my emotions to come forward? So, again, that was the abundance card from the Syrian Starseed deck. So let's move into a little bit of astrology for this month. So right now we're in Sagittarius. The sun is in Sag. And so again, what does that mean? And we have a new moon. We had a new moon on December 1st, depending on what time zone you're in. And so I'm recording this the day after. So we had a new moon in Sagittarius. And so Sagittarius is a fire sign again. So we're going to be into that until I think December 19th. It's the seeker. It's the adventure person, true seeker. And it's expansive energy, fire energy, travel, learning, freedom, future, truth, optimism, and hope. And so this moon that we just had, this new moon, you're going to want to go and look at what house number your Sagittarius. Everybody has Sagittarius. We have all the signs, all 12 signs. So you can go to Chani, CHANI.com for a free birth chart if you don't have one. And look at what house your Sag is in. And you're going to want to then, it's going to give you a clue, right, as to what your focus is during Sagittarius season. Let's see what else about that. Yeah, what new adventure or experience does your soul desire is going to be a good question, and in that specific house area. And then what fears and limiting beliefs need soothing so that we can make changes in that area so that we can experience more of what your soul desires in that area of your chart. All right, another kind of major piece this month is Mars is going to be retrograde on starting in December 6th in Leo. It's going to be retrograde for about 11 weeks. It's going to switch into Cancer beginning in January, but just for now, know that it's in Leo. And again, you're going to want to go look at your birth chart and what house number your sign of Leo is in. Mine's in the 4th house, which has to do with home, family, ancestors, and healing, shifting those subconscious, unconscious beliefs. So what house is it in? That's going to give you a focus. And so retrograde, we know, has to do with reflection. So where do we need to grow? How do we need to grow in this area of our life? And Mars has a lot to do with conflict and courage, anger, war, determination. So again, that area of your chart, how are you being called to grow in that area? The courage to make those changes so that you can move forward. And right now, the movement forward is going to be slow. We have to do this reflection first, right? That's the retrograde, reflection, reassessment. And so that is going to be happening in a bigger way starting December 6th. All right, what else is important for this month astrologically? December 15th, we have a full moon in Gemini. So again, Gemini has a lot to do with communication. And so around this time, we're going to be opening to more powerful messages, answers, ideas. We're going to get clarity on those questions, on all of these areas, all these houses that we've been focusing on. And we're going to be getting some more clarity, some more answers. And then because of that, with that new clarity, with those new answers and messages from your soul, you're going to be called to start moving forward and expressing. having conversations, asking for things, saying what you want, need, and desire, saying, okay, this works or doesn't work, and I'm going to need to move on if you can't honor my boundaries. So we're still bringing forward this theme of boundaries that we had also in November. And because in December in the Evolved Journey community program, we're focusing on the relationships key. So December has a lot to do also with relationships. So no surprise, since we're in holiday season and many of us are going to be with people that maybe we aren't usually with, face to face, person to person, and that's going to stir up some relationship, probably a lot of relationship stuff. So let's see what else. On December 20th, 21st, again, depending on your time zone, the sun is going to move from Sag into Capricorn, which is an earth sign, a material sign. And Capricorn is also very much more of a hermit, a teacher. It's very responsible, wise. And it's so interesting. So I have been studying Deborah Silverman astrology, and they also give a body part for each sign. And the knees are the body part for Capricorn. And the knees represent, from a mind-body perspective, if you are in balance with your ego, right? Are you pushing, are you moving forward from an ego place or from a place of soul and soul guidance, taking soul inspired actions versus have to, supposed to, shoulds, all of those 3P type things that we have touched on before. Perfection, pleasing, pretending to be superhuman. Also around that time, we have the solstice. So let me back up a moment. You're going to want to look at what house number your Capricorn is in come December 2021. And again, that's going to give you a clue as to what area you're going to be focusing on during Capricorn season. The solstice is also December 2021. And the winter solstice is all about opening to a new chapter. It's the birth of the sun again. And so a new chapter for the year ahead. And what we're also called to do during the winter solstice is to have a lot more rest. Again, very counterintuitive to what we're doing. Most of us during that time are caught up on the hamster wheel of the holidays, right? Christmas, Hanukkah, all those things. But you want to remember as much as you can, especially after those holiday gatherings or parties, it is a time of deep rest, a time for us to go into the cocoon, to integrate this past year, to reflect on, integrate, again, what I talked about at the beginning of this video, integrate and reflect on this past year, and then open to dreaming, open to your soul's guidance for next year, what your soul desires for next year. And then, come January, more middle end of January, we begin to move forward in a bigger way towards taking those actions, towards those soul desires. So end of December, beginning of January, time to be reflective, time to cocoon, time to go inward, Let's see what else. Then we end. Two more important things for December. December 29th, Chiron goes direct with Aries. So check again what area of your chart, what house number your Aries sign is in. And we're meant to really focus. Chiron is the wounded healer. We're meant to focus on accepting those wounds that are related to that area of your chart and healing them on a deeper level during this time. And so I think that's going to be Chiron, I think, is going to be in Aries, I think for about a month. I can't remember. I don't have it written down right now. But just know that that's going to be a focus, healing more past wounds. Chiron always represents healing past wounds. And it's going to be whatever house number your Aries is in. And then we end December 30, 31st, depending on your time zone, with a new moon in Capricorn. So again, that area of your chart, the house number your Capricorn's in. And new moons have to do with new beginnings, new intentions, and opening to receiving the new. Opening to receiving the new. So a great time again to open to the soul, connect with your soul, and what it desires for 2025 in all 8 life areas. Those of you that work with me on a deeper level know those 8 areas are self-connection, which includes self-worth, self-love, self-trust, taking time for yourself to connect with yourself, human and soul, and spirituality, health, relationships with those physically on the planet, monies, materials, location, passions, purpose, career. So reflecting on all 8 of those areas as we move into the new year, right? And really shedding more of the have to, supposed to's, the shoulds. Again, Aquarius is all about freedom. Just moved into Aquarius and open to doing things your way, a new way, not in the box, not what everybody else says you should do or how you should do it. So let's see, just another gentle reminder, self-care. Self-care is so important this month, you guys. Again, we normally fall off the wagon and we really need to be conscious, stay conscious of your 3P patterns and stay on the self-care wagon as much as possible. The things that are most important is that we get enough rest, that we are getting enough alone time for many of you because you're sensitive, empaths, you automatically pick up on other people's gunk, right? Fears, emotions, limiting beliefs, etc. So make sure that you're using your tools to clear out on a daily basis. The breath, also, if you are in my program, my Evolve Journey program, we've got lots of guided meditations and self-healing processes that can help you to clear out that gunk, right? Other people's gunk. And that's the intention, right? With the breath or the meditation or the process, I'm clearing out other people's gunk. Best to do that as you go to bed at night. And you can ask your divine team, unseen team, to help you with that, right? To help you with that. Also, remember, again, a gentle reminder that give and receive in relationships. We're really letting go now of relationships that are not honoring us, that are not give and receive. Fill your self-love cup, as I said in the beginning. Many of us are going to be with people, or even if you're not with them, it might still stir up the not good enough if you're not with them. And so really soothing and filling your self-worth, self-love cup, really important. Also, I'd recommend a few other resources this month. If you haven't, or you have, but it might be good to re-listen to your Relationships Blueprint podcast, the Rest, What We Resist and Need Most podcast, as well as the Emotional Stuffing podcast. And you can find the link for the podcast below this video. Also this month, at the end of the month, and more details will become later, but just to mark your calendar, there's going to be an Expand workshop. It's actually December 28th and January 4th, I believe, at 9 a.m. Pacific. I'll be sending more details out for that towards I believe, the middle of the month. So we also have a live podcast with Joy Taylor, a dear friend of mine. Some of you have seen me have a conversation interview with her in the past, but we're going to be having a live podcast on December 23rd at 4 p.m. Pacific. And it's going to be focused on love and conscious, healthy love and relationships. So hopefully you can join us for that. The details are below as well. So I'm going to invite you all to close your eyes right now. Hand on the heart, one above the belly. That's your third chakra, place of self-worth. And just take a few breaths. Follow your breath in and out of your body, nostrils, chest, belly, back out again through the mouth. Pursed lip breathing, easy in, easy out. A reminder that when you are feeling anxious or depressed or scattered or overwhelmed, just doing this simple breath practice can help you to come back into your body, more centered, more grounded. And to connect with our soul, we need to be fully in our bodies. If we're up in our heads, we're acting likely from ego. Ego fears, survival beliefs and fears. And as you breathe in, breathing in the truth that you are worthy of love and abundance in all forms, regardless of how you were treated in the past. And as you breathe out, breathing out all of the not good enough, not lovable, not important, don't deserve. One more time, breathing in and activating every cell in your body and your energy field with the energy of worth and love and abundance. Because you are here breathing on the planet, you are worthy, regardless of how others treated you in the past. Breathing out, releasing all of the not good enough wound. I'm not important. I'm not special. I have to prove myself. I have to overgive. I have to please. I have to be more perfect. Giving yourself a big hug, all of your younger parts a big hug as the divine parent to them, maybe some kisses. Big breath out. Opening your eyes. Remember that you are a powerful co-creator, a powerful soul, and that you have a huge divine team supporting you right now on the planet, whether you are aware of it or not. So sending you all so much courage to make the shifts your soul is calling you to make, so you can come into more soul alignment and receive more love and abundance your soul desires as we move through December into 2025. And remember, you're not here to do this alone. You're not here to do this alone. We all need support, including me. So whether it's friends, whether it's coaches, guides, healers, make sure you have the support you need as we move through this intense time, this intense shift. All right. Love you, honor you for your courage and your willingness to do this deeper work that is not always easy. Happy holidays.